So question number 2 of December 2021, the pilot, they want us to briefly discuss how social, political, economic, and technological forces in the broader society influence organizations and the practice of management over time. Great. Practice of management over time. Practice of management over time. So this kind of a question really, where now do you start answering it from? Briefly discuss how social, political, economic, and technological forces in the broader society, how do they influence organizations and the practice of management over time? Now, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk of social forces, right, we are looking at how, for example, these companies are receptive. What kind of strategies are they putting down to various groups of people, right? If, for example, you go to the JKIA, right? At JKIA airport, you'll be able to realize that these guys are putting ramps here for people who are disabled, right? When we talk of social forces and management, right now, without you getting involved in CSR, corporate social responsibilities, as a company, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't talk of, for example, going green, being good to people who are giving you business, then in terms of organizational growth, you will be at zero. So when we talk of social forces, I'm reading here, social forces refer to the prevailing values, attitudes, and behaviors of people in a society. This can include demographic changes, cultural norms, and social trends. For example, the growing importance of work-life balance has led to changes in management practices, such as flexible working arrangement and remote work. Social media and the increasing role of technology in our lives have also had a significant impact on how organizations engage with customers and market their products. If you allow me, I'll be able to read the political forces. Political forces refer to the actions and policies of government and other political institutions. This can include changes in laws, regulations, taxation policies. For example, changes in environmental regulations can impact the way organizations manage their operations, while changes in trade policies can affect the way they conduct business internationally, right? Political forces. So for example, ladies and gentlemen, right now, if you're a miller, through these political interventions, you can either become a billionaire or you can easily become a pauper. Because the government is coming just the day and they're saying now we have waived all import duties associated with who? With maize. So import, and they're giving people quotas. Up to now, it's only one business which has been able to import that cheap, a little bit cheap, maize. Right? So anytime we have, ladies and gentlemen, the government making some pronouncements, right? Coming up with laws, like our parliament does produce laws often. Of course, we expect to change how we run the company, right? Ladies and gentlemen, because of political forces, many companies like where I work, you can't go there and then you start saying that I'm a person, in this case here, who voted for this guy. No, they can't tolerate this. Right? So economic forces refer to conditions and trends in the broader economy, such as inflation, we have unemployment, and the interest rates. These factors can have a significant impact on organizations, affecting their revenues, cost, and profitability. Economic forces can also influence management practices, such as adoption of cost-cutting measures during downturn in the economy. So ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to me very well. When these economic metrics change, like right now, we have the rate of interest really going up. If you are paying a mortgage of 100,000, right now, I believe that mortgage has gone up to about 120,000 a month. So these economic forces, you can lead people, for example, to start demanding for higher salaries. These economic forces in terms of management practices can make managers, can make organizations here to go into serious cost-cutting strategies, because even them, when the interest rate goes up, when inflation is up, things are quite rough for organizations. So remember, as I answer these questions, I must be reading the question often. Briefly discuss how social, political, economic, and technological forces in the broader society influence these organizations and the practice of management over time. If you look at these answers, you're able to see that really I'm trying to confine myself to what year? To this. So technological forces refer to the advances in technology that can impact the way organizations operate and innovate. For example, the rise of artificial intelligence and automation is transforming the nature of work and requiring organizations to adopt new management practices. Similarly, the growing importance of data analytics is changing the way companies make decisions and manage their operations. So, ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to me very well. This technological forces is making organizations to really think differently. Like right now, quite sad, like right now, quite sad, there are some theoretical papers, for example, some of these theoretical papers in CS, Corporate Secretary. Corporate Secretary, as an organization, as RCM Online College, you have made a decision to have a Synthesia. Is there somebody who has ever heard of Synthesia, this robot, which can act like a teacher? You just give it a script like this, and it's able to teach very well. Actually, people who are not so good in automation and robotics, they'll not even be able to recognize that this is not a human being, right? To the extent that that robot can pause, wait for feedback. So that is quite a huge influence. Technology is advancing, and of course, companies will be forced to do what here to adopt. So that the question is, how do we align this with, for example, employee interests? Because employees, like, for example, in Kericho, those guys went and adopted machines for harvesting tea, right? And a huge workforce has been thrown out of the labor market, right? So how do we balance? Really here we'll need to consider this adoption of this technology vis-a-vis the human beings that we are working with. So if you look at part B, prior to opening a business, an entrepreneur should prepare a business plan. Outline the key characteristics that successful business plans generally share. Ladies and gentlemen, good business plans must be very clear. If you take a huge business plan that is not coherent to a bank, those guys will not even read. So they have to be clear, they have to be concise. Right? A thorough market analysis. You must tell us exactly who your competitors are, what are your key products, what are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Right? A thorough market analysis is required. Number 3, a comprehensive financial projection. A successful business plan should include comprehensive financial projections, including sales forecasts, operating costs, and cash flow projections. Then we have here detailed operational plan. A successful business plan should have a detailed operations plan that outlines how the business will be managed, including staffing, logistics, and day-to-day operations, realistic goals and strategies, effective marketing plan. Remember, this is different from market analysis, right? Effective marketing plan on the basis of the 4 Ps of marketing, the 4 Ps of marketing. Very important. Realistic risk assessment. Don't think that we do not know that you're trying to embellish, you're trying to make your story look nice. So we'd want, in this case here, like 2 pages, a whole chapter talking about what are the risks. That if we lend you money, there is a chance that you may not be able to return the return given up there. You may not be able to give us the return, achieve the return given up there. So you must do a risk analysis. So performance, measurable performance KPIs. Very important, ladies and gentlemen. If you allow me, I'll go to question number 3. Question number 3. I wish I would get my camera being on. I have to switch on my camera because I would want you guys to see me. I would want you guys to see me as we discuss here. You know, so many people fail in this paper. Many people fail in this paper because this is a very practical paper. Very practical paper. You can see the kind of answers that you guys would have given vis-a-vis the answers that I have there. Honestly speaking, what is your thought about the first question that you have done? Battery. So what is your honest feedback about the question that you have done? Do you think you would have done it almost the same way? Please, you have to talk to me. Please, you must talk to your father tonight. If you're not talking to me, then the class will end, because I'll say that my students are. Three-quarters. Somebody would have gotten 3/4. Somebody would have gotten 3/4 here. Okay. Okay. And there is somebody who is trying to really write I don't know who is this. Don't know who is this. There must be somebody there who is not wishing me well. Great. Great. So do we continue? Do we continue now? Do we continue now? Do we continue? Do we continue? Do we continue? Nope. Sorry, it's hanging a bit. We shall overcome. So I would want us to go to number 2. Question number 2.